going on, you guys, and welcome to Repair, Revive, Repeat. So glad that you can make it. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. I cannot believe the response that I've gotten. I have way more views than I thought that I was going to get, and I know I said this in the last video, but it just keeps on getting better. It is absolutely incredible. I'm up to nearly 10 subscribers now. I have nearly 300 views between all my videos, which again is far more than I thought that I was going to get. This is still my first week doing this, and it's mind-blowing. So I do appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. Today we have, to me, what is a very special episode. Today we're going to be working on a DBX sub, which is in a sealed enclosure. It's a 15-inch woofer, and this actually used to belong to my dad. I got this as a gift from my dad back in 2014, and we never had the opportunity to actually mess with it. It's been sitting in storage for almost 10 years. I don't know if it works or not. However, the reason why this is so special to me is because this was a gift that I got from my dad when we found out that he was very, very sick. In 2007, we found out that he had stage 1 lung cancer. About a year after that, we found out that he also had COPD. Eventually, they were able to get rid of the cancer, but COPD is just one of those things that eventually takes its toll. So in 2014, I got him a stereo and this sub as a gift for his birthday. And he unfortunately began to decline shortly after that. And we never had the opportunity to hook this thing up, listen to it, see it work. But he always had it right next to his bed. He used it as a little table because it does look like a table, and you'll see that here shortly. But unfortunately, you know, COPD is one of those things, like, it will eventually take you, unfortunately. And on October 11th, the early morning of October 11th at 3 in the morning, 2018, he lost his battle with COPD. And a lot of his things kind of just got stuck in storage after that. And it's only been very recently that I've been able to not only handle things that used to belong to him that remind me of him, but, you know, listen to music and do old things like going fishing and just doing stuff that we used to do together. So that's just a little bit of the background, you know, a little bit of story time. But without further ado, this is what I got for you guys. And it does look like a table. So this is a DBX model number DBSW15. And it is supposedly rated at 250 watts. Now this thing has been setting for a very long time. There is an incredible amount of dust. Not sure if you guys can see that in there. So what we're going to be doing today is we're actually going to pull this thing completely apart. We're going to take off the bottom stand. We're going to pull out the channels here, and we're going to give it all a nice deep clean. We will hook it up, see if it works. And if it works, I do plan on, and since I'm going to be keeping this for myself, this is very sentimental to me, I actually want to cut this out, and I would like to install its own plate amplifier. I think that that would do it justice. I have a 150 watt plate amp that I would like to stick in here. And this would probably go right in my room and hook up to my main stereo system that I have. And I think it'd be a great addition to my speaker family. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up another camera so you guys can have a good view. And we're gonna start pulling this old girl apart. Once I get this bottom piece off, I just wanna get the dust out of here real quick so we're not blowing dust all over the place. And then we're going to hook it up to a stereo that I have that has its own sub out on it and see how she sounds. Alright, so now that we got her laid on her side, I'm going to go ahead and start dismantling this lower portion. After that, I'm going to just clean off some of the dust. Again, I don't want a whole bunch of dust going all over the place if it does work. And then we will go from there, you guys. Look at the length of these guys. That is old school quality right there for you. All right, y'all ready? How do you think she's gonna look? She is definitely dirty, but in phenomenal shape. And still tight. She is airtight. If you look, see how slowly that cone comes back out. So aside from that, look at this. That is nasty. But once we establish that this thing actually works, we will get all this stuff cleaned up and see how she sounds. Right now I'm going to go ahead and just get all this crap off of here, get it nice and dusted off. Hopefully a lot of this sticks to my paintbrush and it isn't getting into the air because I don't want to breathe none of that in. So we got the trusty dusty paintbrush, which actually this used to belong to my father as well. I am being very gentle. I don't want to damage anything. She is old. I do believe that these were produced from either the mid to late 80s to the early or mid 90s. But I'm not sure, I couldn't find a lot of information online about these. So a lot of it did stick to it, thankfully. Go ahead and throw this away real quick. Alright, since I can see that she's in relatively good shape, go ahead and go a little bit more aggressively here. Now there's not a bunch of crap on here, I can actually just get what I can off. I am using a soft bristle brush, so the odds of this actually hurting anything are very low, but you can never be too careful. So just with the dusting, she cleans up beautifully. So when I come back to you guys, she will be hooked up and we will see how she sounds. Alright, so we got her all hooked up. I got a single speaker here hooked up, and then the sub. This stereo does have its own independent sub channel, which puts out about 100 watts, so hopefully she will sound decent. So we'll go ahead and power her on. Go to VCR 2. And then as usual, I'm just going to play my intro. say headphone warning. I want to see this bad boy move. Absolutely unbelievable. This thing has been sitting for 8 to 10 years and she thumps. She sounds amazing. I can see that thing bouncing in there. She just, oh my God. My dad would be so happy if he's up there right now. I bet you he's smiling right now. This old girl, she is definitely going to get a full clean, get her back together. And then in the next video, I do plan on cutting out right here. And I know, there's some stereo fanatics out there that would be like, no, don't. But this is mine. It's never going to go anywhere. I will have this for the remainder of my life and pass it down to my brothers, my kid, whatever. This thing will never leave our family. So totally worth it to me. I cannot believe how great this thing sounds. And she moves. I love that motion. I definitely wish that me and the old man could have rocked out to this thing together. But again, he's up there. He's happy. I bet you he's right here rocking out with me right now. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get this speaker out, see what it looks like on the inside, and give it a nice good cleaning. And then we will do the same to every inch of this thing and get it just as beautiful as it can get. Alright you guys, what do you think it's going to look like in here? Wow. Absolutely incredible. This is a dual voice coil, 15-inch sub. The way that I had it hooked up before, probably wasn't even realizing its full potential. It does unfortunately look like some of these connections are actually soldered directly to the woofer itself. So I'm not going to mess around too much. It's not necessarily soldered, but there is definitely glue holding these connections on here. So we'll go ahead and get this inside cleaned up real quick, which is not going to take a lot. I will give the outside of the sub a good wipe down, get it back together, and then start on the outside and see what kind of restoration job we can actually do on this thing. So now this definitely has some blemishes. I don't know if it's a manufacturer type thing or age, but it definitely does not come off with wiping. Not a whole lot of crap coming off of here, so it's relatively clean. A large contribution to that is the fact that this is a sealed enclosure, so there is barely any dust that has made its way in here. So we will go ahead and get this speaker back in its rightful place. Just gonna let it rest right there momentarily. So when it comes to putting any subwoofer back in or taking it out, you want to be very careful. You don't want to slip and accidentally puncture the foam surround or the cone itself. So definitely just take your time with it, be very patient. For me, I like to start at the top and then one down at the bottom. You always want to make sure your screws are going in nice and straight. You don't want to tear the surround right here either. Alright, so those are in there nice and tight. We're going to go ahead and flip this guy on its back. And we're going to give this cone and its surrounding areas here a nice good wipe down. See how she looks. Alright, so now that we have her on her back, we're going to go ahead and wipe this down a little bit. Before I do that, I'm actually going to take my trusty dusty paintbrush and just get some of the dirt and grime out of here and then wipe her down after that. So I am kind of just scooping this all into a pile, and then I will use a wet wipe to actually pick up the dirt and grime. I don't just want to knock this all over the place. I guess I'll make an exception for what's actually on the speaker itself. I have a little mess to clean up, but not too bad. Alright, so got up a little bit. There's not really a whole lot in here. Thankfully it's not too bad. But I'll grab another wipe and give it another wipe down. right, that is looking much, much better. So I don't know if you could tell in the video, but this little center cap right here, I did push it down on accident. It's kind of dented like that. Fortunately, when you have these sealed enclosures, when they're soft like this one is, it's very easy to, if you push it down, just put pressure on the speaker and it will pop it back out for you. Alright, so we're going to take my trusty dusty paintbrush and just give it another once over here. These wipes do like to leave a little bit of residue, so I like to get all that off. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and flip her back upright and then give this thing a full scrub down. This thing is very heavy, probably weighs a good 40-50 pounds. Alright, so there is a good bit of dust and dirt and grime on here. We do have a little something going on over here as well, which I 100% plan on getting off. So I'm just going to set you guys right here and go at it as vigorously as she will let me. Look at how nasty that turned out just off the top. So go ahead and grab another wipe. So it does look like this is paint on the other side. Maybe it hit something that had a little bit of white paint on it, maybe like a corner or something, but it is definitely coming off. So that is the result. No more paint. And I will keep on going. Going to save the best part for last. This thing is disgusting. So we will keep on going at it. So the finish on here is still phenomenal. This thing looks great for being so old. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate her one last time. Do the same thing right here. Probably end up grabbing another wipe. Alright, so got the old trusty dusty paintbrush once again. Just going to go in here and give this a nice little clean. Get all this dust and crap out of here. And we'll grab one of our wipes. Go in here and get everything that I can. So there are 2 fuses in here, which I do not want to remove. I don't want to compromise anything, so I'm just leaving them in there. Alright, so I have the speaker set off to the side. We're going to move to the final part. And I'm just going to use a wipe to wipe all this into a pile. And just get it in the trash. Look at that crap. That is disgusting. Still disgusting. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and get this back on there. Hook it up, make sure that we didn't break anything, and I think we'll call it a day with this guy until the next video. Next video, I will be putting a plate amplifier in this guy. And I look forward to that. I cannot wait to do that. I want to hear this thing under some actual power. So before we do that, let's actually just appreciate how good this thing cleaned up. There are a few blemishes in which would not come out, but it's just one of those things that adds character to it. Look at that speaker, you guys. Absolute beauty. For anybody that's lost their parents, whether it was a month ago, 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. Just know that they're looking down, they're smiling on you. They want to see you succeed. Stay happy, stay true to yourself, and they'll be proud. So I am back with you guys. I got this thing all back together. Kind of haphazard like, but she is hooked up. And she is hooked up to the RCA that I just recently did. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out. So we're going to go ahead and turn it on. Make sure the volume is down. Gonna go ahead and hit play. Headphone warning. So that is another one, you guys. Again, this one holds near and dear to my heart. I wish my dad could hear this thing rocking out, although I'm sure he can. This was something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. It took a lot of courage to actually pull this thing out and get to working on it, and I'm definitely glad that I did. For all my viewers and all my subscribers, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Hope everybody stays safe in the world, and I will catch you in the next one.